Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Greg DeSell from Markertek. Thank you for joining us as part of Markertek's ongoing Web Tech series. As today our friends from Cobalt Digital are here to talk about the unprecedented flexibility offered in its advanced quad path and software-defined streaming video openGearr cards. Before we get going, I want to thank Chris Garcia and Susanna Brady at Cobalt, and also take a moment to point out a few things as we roll along. We have set aside about 30 to 40 minutes to go over the key features of the 9900 series openGearr cards, and 15 minutes at the end for a Q&A session. Please take note of the Q&A section in your Zoom control panel. We'll welcome your questions and we're going to do our best to answer them during the presentation or in the Q&A section at the end. For any we may not get to, of course, we'll follow up directly post-presentation. Also, if you're experiencing any technical issues with video or audio, please alert us in the chat section. Now that we've got the general housekeeping out of the way, let's get started. We are very excited to share the latest of Cobalt Digital's processing tools designed to easily adapt to endless workflows and stay on budget. These openGearr cards offer a multi-path capability that's sure to be an essential in any of your production workflows. And that said, I'm glad to introduce today's host, Cobalt's Western Digital US and Latin American Sales Manager, Chris Garcia. Chris is based in Southern California and a 20-year veteran of the broadcast technology industry. He has previously held sales and marketing, product management, and business development positions with the likes of Astro, Evertz, and EVS. Welcome and thanks for being a part of today's presentation, Chris.
Yep, thank you. So yeah, in today's presentation, I'll be discussing Cobalt's latest products for multi-processing, multi-path products that cover frame rates and formats from SD all the way through 12G. We also have some products that have sort of like a hybrid platform where we support not only baseband SDI, but also HDMI and fiber. And all this will be described in the different and the whole product spectrum that we have from Cobalt. But the focus of today's discussion will be primarily around the 9905 MPX, which is the latest flagship product that we have from Cobalt. So let's get started with this presentation. First, let me start with this slide. This sort of gives a broad view of the different tools that we have at Cobalt. Primarily, the products that we always discuss are the openGearr platform products. But with that, we also have other solutions that sort of bring it all together into that whole openGearr ecosystem. So as you can see there, that BBG 1000 standalone frame, that is a product that certainly can work in many remote flight pack sort of scenarios that house different openGearr cards. And then obviously we use dashboard to talk to any of the cards within the openGearr frame or that BBG 1000. And then we have typical products like the throwdowns, blue box, and then the servers that do audio processing and compliance. And that's more so for like a very broadcast-centric application market. Within the BBG Blue Box, we have a whole series of products that fit or will function in a way that you might be accustomed to. We have from very basic SDI to HDMI or HDMI to SDI to more complex, fiber to or from SDI baseband with embedding, de-embedding of audio. We also have now a new, very unique solution for distributing 12G, which is our BBG DA 1x6 throwdown box. And then we also have some IP little blue box for 2110 or 2022. And these products are within this category of the BBG blue box. These products are made in the US, in California, and in Champaign. And we offer a very generous warranty of 5 years, so similar to other competitors in the market. Other products that we offer, as I mentioned, in the platform for the openGearr, ecosystem, we have all these different categories. So what you'll see in these different categories is that we have dedicated products that have existed in the past, And we sort of have been evolving with these different categories, either as a single card or as a solution through a licensable option that we can enable on different cards, which I'll be discussing with the 9905. For example, if you're looking for something that's strictly just an audio processing platform, we have something that addresses that, but will also be addressed with the new 9905, 9904 cards that can also do processing of different audio types for encoding Dolby, decoding Dolby, plus embedding, de-embedding that are licensable options, but in some cases, might be just a default feature. And then as you'll see here, we have, like color correction, conversion, distribution, embedding, de-embedding, fiber optic, frame sync, and so on. So all these different categories, whatever existed for us in the past as an SD solution or as a 3G, now we offer this as a 4K 12G platform that sort of exists now in the latest platforms that I'll be discussing today. And all these different solutions can be easily, installed inside of our HPF 9000 frame, which is what you see here in the blue color. Or it can also be installed in the OGX, which is the standard openGearr enclosure, which is the one you see here in black. So any of these solutions, as I said, exist as a standalone, but also exist as an optional license that we can enable. One thing that we also wanted to mention in this discussion is this new product, which is the BBG 1300. This product we can say it's another openGearr in enclosure, because essentially you can put any of the Cobalt openGearr cards, or it can also be any of the other third-party companies' openGearr cards. So you can use the same backplane, the same card, you install it on this frame, and now you have a robust, portable, standalone enclosure that can talk to your dashboard, or you can control it through the front panel, and it has onboard redundant power. You also have SNMP for those advanced networking capabilities that sometimes are required. And then you have a very robust frame controller that has all those bells and whistles for setting up a proper network with this particular enclosure. And it's a very unique proposition, because now you can use this either as a fly pack setup in a production truck, or you can bring these and set them up in your broadcast center and set them up side by side in a rack or wherever you want to set them up, which is the flexibility of this BBG 1300. Another great product that we wanted to discuss before we get into the 9905 is this 9915 DA. This is a very unique product because it not only works as a distribution amplifier, but it also behaves like a mini sort of router. We offer this in 3 flavors. One is a 1x16, 2x16, and a 4x16. What is very unique about this is that we offer the ability to have fiber SFPs installed. So when you have that, this product allows you to come in as a baseband and come out as a fiber, or come in as fiber and come out as baseband. So using the onboard crosspoint, this allows you to have that ability to mix and match different, type of signals within the card, and then you can use the crosspoint on board to do those different configurations or routes for depending on your destination or sources. Another great product that I'd like to mention is the 9992 encoding platform. This is sort of the latest legacy flagship product that we have. As you can see here, we offer both RIST and SRT for this. What's very unique about this is that you can purchase this as a base default configuration, which comes as a 1-channel card. But on board, we can easily activate or enable 3 additional channels that allows this card to behave as if it were 4 independent encoding engines. So that's a very unique proposition from this product. And then another great proposition is that for anybody that's looking to have the maximum allowable audio channels, this allows you to enable up to 16 channels of audio or 16 pairs of audio that you can utilize and apply to any of those encoding channels, because these are essentially floating licenses that I can activate all 16 on one channel, or I can distribute them on all four, or use them in a different combination. So this is a very, very unique platform that, as you can see here, we offer, full capability from SD all the way through 4K. We support different audio types. We also support ultra low latency on this. And this also allows us to support all the traditional protocols that everybody would expect to see in a compression or encoding engine. And again, this is a great product that can easily be used inside of an ecosystem that's already in place for openGearr. So this is, the encoding platform. And then on the flip side, we also have the decoding, which in this case, the maximum channels that we can activate would be 2 channels. And again, everything that I mentioned for the encoder, this also supports that on the decoding side. But again, just limited to 2 channels. So now getting into the main product here. Let's look at this block diagram. As you can see here, this is a 9905 MPX. This product has essentially a great, sort of configuration, or I should say architecture. So essentially inside of one card, I have 4 independent channels that I can use for any sort of processing that I may want. As you can see inside of the block diagram, there's multiple little processing blocks. And each of these processing blocks, I can define any of these different channels, independent channels, to basically, do different types of processing per channel. So one of these processing blocks, once you enable a license, or if you have a feature enabled, you can utilize that and apply that to any of these different channels. And again, it'll behave as if you had 4 independent cards inside of one frame. So, this is exactly what we mean when we say like density or the most flexibility, when it comes to performance. What you get here is, for example, everything that's described in black. This is essentially, everything that comes by default standard with the product. Everything that you see there outlined or listed in blue lettering, that's what we would need to activate as an optional license. One other thing to note is that this card also has an I/O or a back panel for the card that supports fiber. So essentially the way we do that is we have SFPs that we can adapt to this card. So now you have a way to come into the card as fiber, or you can come out as fiber. So if you have an SFP that's a 3G or whatever, then you can easily adapt it and use that as a fiber platform as well. And then I'll describe the rest of the different IOs. So for example, we have HDMI, and I'll describe exactly what you get with HDMI in the other one of the other slides that we have downstream. And then I will also describe what we do with the AES and MADI, as you see that listed on there, so that you can get an idea what's possible with this card.
Chris, I have a question, if I may interject.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Somebody had asked, can you use the BBG 1300 FR and the 9905 as a standalone solution?
Yes. So what is really interesting about this, so if you combine the BBG 1300 and the 9905, now you have a very compact, multi-channel, multi-processing, solution that you can basically take anywhere. And the value proposition with this is that if you happen to have some of these 9905 cards, now you can use the same card inside of your broadcast center, but also bring that into the field, into a very remote application, and you would also get the same processing power that you would get as if you were like in a traditional openGearr. So yes, the answer is yes, you can use that. And it's actually a very recommended use case for this 9905 MPX with the BBG 1300.
Great, thank you.
Yep. So now looking at, if you guys can see all these different audio meters, sliders that we see on here for the audio, just wanted to give you guys a little snapshot of what's possible with this, with this card. Basically, this card allows users to be able to use up to 16 channels of AES or embedded in the SDI stream, or you can use up to 64 audios of MADI. So anything that's coming in or coming out of the card, this card allows you to easily make those adjustments, create different profiles, and then you can do per channel audio routing control. You can measure your VU meters, mute, invert, adjust the audio gain, and do all that with the simple selection of one of the different tabs within dashboard. So again, that's this is why we have this, so that you can see exactly how that would look like if you were to control those different audios. And again, as I just said, this has the ability to do a lot of large audio routing or mapping by using those meters that I just showed you. And then you can have basically status and monitoring for either the embedded audio, the AES, or MADI. So all that is easily accessible, and you can easily monitor all that. And again, you have individual controls for any of the processing you need to do with the audios. This is an example of what users can achieve with the different with the flex mixer that we have on board. For example, you have the ability to create up to 16 custom mixes, and these custom mixes can be saved locally on the card's memory bank, so that any user can easily recall it back, or you can even save it or download it to your desktop and be able to use that configuration on different cards if you have multiple cards working together. This also allows you to customize any type of combination. So if you have, for example, AES and MADI, or AES and embedded audio, so you can easily use those sources for this flex mixer. And again, similar to what you would do with all those different sources, you can also make adjustments to the gain with the flex mixer as well. And this is just illustrating exactly what's possible. So for example, if I have a stereo, I can create a down mix to a mono. Or if I have, like, for example, more than stereo, like a 5.1, I can also down mix to a stereo mix. So again, these are all different profiles, mixes that I can save locally, or I can save those off the card, like onto a desktop or somewhere, and utilize or use that to create other copies of that same mix somewhere else. Another great function, as I just said, with the flex mixer, you can also create multiple down mixes where you can easily control the attenuation, by adjusting the center channel left and right. You can also create a surround mix, control ratios, so that you can have a little more control. And again, it's similar to create and adjust in the same fashion that you would create all those different other mixes. One very unique thing about this card is that because we support the different audio types, in most cases, other devices or appliances out there, what they do is that they offer this sort of product, but in multiple cards. For example, there's others that are more audio centric that just specifically address the audio. In our case, we address audio plus video in one single platform, which is it's a great achievement, especially when we offer 4 independent video channels that you can utilize the embedded audios, the AES or MADI. But in this illustration, what I wanted to outline here is that, for example, if you're working with 16 channels of embedded audio plus 16 channels of AES, and you want to get those audios onto a console, either in a production truck, inside of a venue, having the MADI option on this card allows you to use this card as a sort of a gateway to get all those different audio channels onto that particular console, where you can easily just have one point of control, one point of processing, without having to rely on multiple appliances or devices to manage and control for let's say one for audio, one for video. In this case, it's all done inside of the card, and it's a very seamless process. And then with those the metering that I show you, the sliders, you can easily make all those adjustments and be able to determine what audio sources are going to make it over to the to your console. So this is a very, very unique platform where we're doing all this processing for audio, plus all the video processing that in most cases you need to be able to process in one central place. So again, this is one of those key functions of this card. Another great thing about this card is that on top of the audio and just regular video processing, we provide a proper frame sync. So that means that if you have multiple downstream devices that are connected to this card, whether it's our encoders, decoders, or something else, and let's just say something happens to disconnect or you lose sync somewhere else, if you have this card connected in the same path, this card is able to provide a valid SAV and EAV to keep the signal connected and just locked, so that you don't lose any signal. So this is again another great solution for doing that. If you're already using this for audio or for something else, this is gonna give you that extra flexibility to be able to use this as a way to keep your facility timed and in sync without losing any signal. Another great thing that many of our customers are using this for is because this has a automatic format detection, so we can detect anything that's inbound into the card. So in that case, if it's a 3G or whatever else format, this card has the ability on the output to either match, keep the input as is, and then just pass it through with other processing, or I can go ahead and select different formats from this drop-down list and be able to define exactly my output resolution, my output frame rate, and I can decide if I want to make any, apply any noise reduction, enhance the overall picture with sharpness, or anything that I want to do. I can apply this before it goes out on my output. So that's a nice feature that you can set up. And again, this can also be set up as a profile, so that if you have, let's say, multiple operators or just one operator that needs to monitor different signals, you can set up different profiles where this can automatically, as soon as it detects a certain format, it'll convert it to a different format, or it can just essentially just pass the video through. There's nothing else that needs to be done, and you'll be able to monitor all those different signals in one central place, which would be using dashboard. So again, that's one very unique thing about this, that it kind of takes that much more off your hands to be able to just focus on ensuring that you have a working workflow and that everything's working properly. Also, in terms of logo generation, triggering or inserting logos onto your video, on your output video, this card has the ability to have up to 32 channels of, or 32 logos stored on the local memory of the card. That basically, those logos, you can make them available so that with those 4 independent channels that I have on the card, I can have up to 4 different logo types per channel that I can select to output at any given time. This card, similar to all the other cards that we have from Cobalt, such as like the 9902 or the 9922, the card can generate the logo based on a set of conditions or events that we can predefine in advance when I'm setting up my workflow. Or if I have a dedicated operator, the operator can do a manual trigger, which means it'll manually insert the logo on any of those 4 channels that I have, which is a very unique thing with this card, because now I have that much more, capability and that much more resources that I can work with for any given, project or application. And again, although in some cases, people might think it's a very, insignificant, it's a small deal. For us, we think that just the fact that the card can do all this within the single card with 4 different channels, it's a great achievement. So for anybody that has multiple channels that they need to brand and just drive different logos, this could be a great option for doing that. Another great thing with this card that we offer as a standalone, and it's a default function that was one of the driving factors for designing this, was we had many customers that have different little throwdown boxes or larger appliances that they were using on set, like in a production, where they want to be able to generate different LUT files or process LUTs. We noticed that it just looked a little sloppy. It was just a little extra work. There was a lot more, sort of monitoring required to get things going correctly. So we took all that feedback and we were talking with a lot of partners or users that they wanted to address that in a more, elegant and more, controlled environment sort of way. And so we decided to add the 3D LUT capability as a standard feature on this card to allow the users to work with tools such as LiveGrade or Wonderlook and just be able to access those different sources and cameras, bring them into the card, and then do all the processing by talking to it through one of these softwares, and then just using dashboard as leverage, just monitoring all the signals. And if you're embedding audio and doing all that, it's all one central location without having to look at external software or external tools to be able to process your signals. So in this case, we offer this as a standard feature. So if anybody has the requirement to generate LUTs or be able to work with different LUT files, this already out of the box, it does that, and there is no additional fee required. The only thing that would still be required would be to have one of these different either a LiveGrade or Wonderlook softwares inside of your toolkit to be able to do those dynamic processing of the LUTs. And again, to continue on the LUTs, this particular platform as a sort of as a premium option, we can activate BBC LUTs. What's great about this is that, as I just described with the other the dynamic LUT processing for let's say if you wanted to process different log files, this is where you would basically go and select within the card. So if you wanted to do a bypass where you have no LUT processing, you set up the card in bypass mode, and it just basically it'll process a regular signal. But if you wanted to use one of those different softwares, then you would select the dynamic LUT, and it would allow those external third-party softwares to engage the card and control those different RGB values and create those LUTs on the fly, so that you can generate the Q file and deliver that to post. Now, if you had a LUT file that you wanted to load up on the card and work with those color parameters, in that case, you would basically select the user LUT, and the user LUT would allow you to basically, create those, different parameters, but all based on whoever is using the card, whatever they think it's a valid, color values for RGB. And then in this particular slide, what we're talking about here is the ability to use the same card to generate BBC LUTs. And again, like I said, this is a premium option that you can purchase. You enable this on the same card. It's just a license file that once you enable it, we also deliver the license with a file that basically loads different LUTs to the local storage of the card. And at that point, you would have up to 50 options that you can work with for generating those BBC LUTs. So again, it's a tool that just adds that much more dynamic sort of flexibility for whether you're working with audio, you're working with LUTs. It's just a very capable tool that you want to have. It's like a Leatherman in your pocket, right? You can use it for anything whenever you have a need, and it's there in your pocket, right? And that's exactly what this card does. As I mentioned in the block diagram, with the HDMI, because the card has a dedicated HDMI output, this card can essentially give you not just basic monitoring, but on the output. So if you have, let's just say if you feed the card, a signal that has, LUTs or HDR embedded in the SDI stream, this card on the output allows you to basically you can adjust and set up your different parameters for the output. So you have full control for the HDMI output. So that means if you wanted to change your color space, if you want to do like 709 or 2020, you can do that. You can also change your bit depth as well. Legal full range. You can define your HDR info frames. You can do all that. And then on top of that, you can basically adjust your color values for RGB, the black, luminance, all that. I mean, it's a great capable function to have, because that particular output, it's fully compliant with HDMI 2.0. But in this case, because the card, it's a quad 3G card, obviously all the formats that are coming out of that HDMI port are going to be up to 1080p 60. So, but that's what we offer in this level of control within that HDMI output port. And then to add on more on the capabilities for controlling the color and adjusting color values and all that, we also have, which is one of the other premium licenses, which is the color correction license. In this case, what we do is, you get the license, it's, you activate it, and then now you have additional controls beyond just a regular proc, adjustments on the card. Once you activate the license, what you get with that is you have the ability to do proper adjustments for the RGB color values, where you can adjust the wide range, gain, gamma, black, independent black and gain offsets, color saturation, so you can actually in real time be able to make those adjustments, and it'll reflect on the either whatever monitor you have as a reference. And you can also do color limiting, so you can create those those values. And again, all these different changes, any changes or value modifications that you make inside of the card, these will be reflected instantly, or you can also save those. You can save those and create multiple files that you can quickly on the fly load up onto the card, and you can use them for different use cases. But if you have an operator that's going to be doing this in real time, then maybe there's no need to save a file. But if you have multiple cards, or maybe you're going from project to project, or different venue to different venue, maybe it makes a lot of sense to create backups for to reflect a certain lighting conditions, certain exposure conditions, certain cameras that you may have. This becomes a great tool for doing that, because you can create certain profiles that look best for a certain look that you may want to achieve. So that's recommended if you're going to be working with this color correction option or license that you can fully configure and adjust. So aside from working with dashboard to control these different parameters, you can also use this control panel that I have here on the slide. Essentially, this control panel has been used extensively by many of our customers. What's very unique about this control panel is that this control panel, it also any changes that I make, it also reflects instant, like it's in real time on the card. What is very unique about this is that I have these are like physical buttons that in some case it's just a little more satisfying, and it's just reassuring, so that if you're actually making those adjustments, you can see that every little turn you make on the knob is going to be reflected on the output. You can also, if you see the numeric keypad on there, you can also recall certain values without having to like scroll all the way around. You can easily just type in, quickly a value, and it'll just pop out, and the little screen that you see on there will give you those values, and you can confirm or delete or make any further adjustments. So that's a nice addition to anybody that's working with the color correction option, or even to control any other parameter of the car, whether it's audio, whether it's logo or anything like that. This particular panel will allow you or give you that much more flexibility to do that. But in most cases, our customers really like to use this for the color correction or color processing aspects of this card. And again, to continue on the color correction option, here's some potential correction use cases, right, for the card. So for example, if you're working in a place or in a configuration where you have point of view cameras, where you want to have all the cameras looking the same, and you have no CCU control, then this is where you really would want to use that particular function or the option to make those corrections, right? Like to adjust the lighting conditions, enhance the image quality, and so on, right? And then also if you have different monitors, like on screen, different monitors in your set, again, the fact that you don't have a CCU, that also limits what you can do. So again, this option now allows you to make those adjustments, adjust the range, just a bunch of little enhancements that are possible with this. And like for example, if you're using this card to go into different environments that are very similar in nature, like for example, you're going to studios where you may not have the best lighting, this can certainly save you a lot of time if you pre-configure something close enough and then just make some last minute adjustments to sort of match the lighting conditions or similar conditions that you had maybe on the previous project. So again, this is what's possible with this, and I think a lot of our customers have been benefiting quite a bit by having this color correction option. We do have, like I said in the starting slides, that we do have some dedicated color corrector cards that offer this same functionality, but it's just one card that can do one path. In this case, we're talking about being able to apply this color correction to all those 4 independent channels. So if you were in that space where you needed to have the maximum density with the maximum flexibility, this will give you that peace of mind that you can easily activate that color correction license and off you go. And by the way, all these different licenses, like the color correction or even the BBC LUTs, we can issue some 30-day samples or like a demo temp licenses that you can activate. And this is gonna allow you to have to be able to test it out, or if you happen to be on set or like on the project, and at the last minute somebody says, "Hey, I need to do this," you can easily call somebody at Cobalt and we can issue you a temp that'll hopefully help you get through that. We issue this for maybe a max of 2 weeks, and it'll give you an idea of what's possible with the card with that license. So, so yeah, so if you ever have a need for this, we think this is a great option instead of having like a dedicated box or a dedicated card to do that, when you can easily just do it in the same path where you're already processing audio, where you're doing 3D LUTs or BBC LUTs and doing any other up-down cross conversion, because that's exactly what this card does. So it's called MPX because essentially it's multi-processing, right? So it does not only processing video, but audio, and including all this other, sort of more premium requirements for processing. And then you also have the flexibility where you can have fiber and HDMI in the same platform, and now that gives you that much more, room to play in different scenarios, different, applications, where it's not just limiting, very specific, narrow application use case. So that's what this color correction option offers. And with that, if anybody has any questions, please do ask.
Thanks, Chris. Certainly very powerful indeed. Solutions for sure. Yeah, we'll open up the floor for any questions from any of our participants if they wish. I do see one in here. Do you help design systems if need be?
Yes, we do. That's one of the services. Me personally, I do actually get involved with that aspect of the way we do things at Cobalt. Typically, we also utilize different tools that we have, including our configurator that allows us to kind of paint the picture the way a project needs to look like. But also just to make sure that we address any questions and we can identify what resources need to be part of a project to make it, just as powerful and as flexible as anybody would expect, the product to, or our solutions to work.
Okay, great. I'm not seeing any questions. Must be a testament to the fine job you did explaining everything. And I think with that, thanks again to our host again, Chris Garcia, and thank you all for joining us today. as outlined by Chris, these solutions from Cobalt are sure to be a great addition to your production workflow. See your Markertek sales engineer for more details, and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
Great.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.